Hello and welcome to the Peace Talk, this time with Cynthia McKinney. Cynthia is a former Congresswoman, a former presidential candidate, she's a peace activist, she's the author of several books, and maybe most important, she was the first African-American woman in history to represent the state of Georgia in the US Congress. She served on the House of International Relations Committee, where she was the highest-ranking Democrat on the Human Rights Subcommittee. She fights the death penalty, she supports the Gaza Free Movement, and she was rewarded with the Munich American Peace Committee Peace Prize. Cynthia, I admire you and your work because you are fearless and you challenge the power structures. You stood up against the Federal Reserve System, against the big corporations, and you were the first in Congress who called for a further independent 9/11 investigation. So, my respect, and I'm glad and honored you find the time to talk to us, and I'm happy.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to do a little peace talk. And actually, I enjoy doing peace talk because, unfortunately, the world is engulfed in war and tensions right now. And what we need more of is peace talk.
Great, sounds great. Yeah, that's what we're doing in the Varna Peace Institute. Yes, thank you. So let me start with the first question. What drives you personally to challenge these power structures? Why do you risk your career and even your life?
I had a great role model in my father, who I witnessed. In fact, I was just writing about him. And there's a scholar who's doing some research on the civil rights movement. And he contacted me to ask me some questions. So I took the time to respond to his questions. And one of the questions was, why do you do what you do? And so I said, well, it's what I grew up doing. I watched my father go from protest to protest to protest to protest. My father was an integral part of the civil rights movement. He was punished because he led his own movement in the city of Atlanta at a time when it was unpopular to talk about black rights, civil rights, and he paid the price. And so now I'm following in my dad's footsteps because I also am paying the price, which is also one of the reasons that you find me in Asia right now, because standing up to the deep state of the U.S. is a very dangerous thing to do. And in many respects, I'm lucky that I am here and still alive to tell the story.
Wow, sounds great. Nice. In 2008, you were aboard the ship called Dignity as it attempted to enter the Gaza Strip in order to send humanitarian aid to the suffering Palestinian people. Why did you go, and more important, what happened there? What happened to you?
My Gaza sojourners are very interesting in and of themselves, and then what they led to. So basically, one day in December, I am at home with my mom and dad sitting around the table. The phone rings, and it's a friend of mine who lives out in California. I'm in Georgia. And the friend says, do you want to go to Gaza, right? And so I said, sure, why not?
Wow.
And I started packing, and I didn't tell my mom or dad anything until I was ready to walk out the door. And so I left, and my dad warned me. He said, you'll be a sitting duck. And that was the last thing he said to and then drawing back. And, you know, ours is a little pleasure yacht, so it's just chugging along, and they're just playing their game and then coming back and coming up close and shining the light on us like, you know, a spotlight, like we're criminals or something. And then out of the blue, they rammed us.
Wow.
And at that point, that's when I remembered I don't know how to swim.
Wow.
So I was in trouble. I was literally in trouble. The doctor who was on board with us, he was British, and so he was an English speaker. There were 12 or so volunteers from around the world, and so all of us English speakers were sitting next to each other. There was Mairead McGuire, who's the Nobel laureate, Peace laureate from Northern Ireland, and me and the doctor. And so we were sitting together and hurriedly putting on our life jackets because we didn't even have our life jackets on. And the boat was totally destroyed. Totally destroyed. We're just lucky is all I can say. I envisioned myself being crushed between the body, the shell, the hull of our boat, and the Israeli warship that had rammed us. And that was the vision that I had. And then the English doctor yelled out, prepare yourselves to die. So I started thinking, oh my gosh, you know, all these people, I'm a single mom, and I'm leaving my child behind for my parents to raise, and everybody's going to say I'm out here fighting for everybody's rights and not taking care of my own child. And then, you know, all of a sudden in the midst of all of this going around in my head, I said, well, oh gosh, if you gotta die, isn't this the way to do it? Do it standing up for what you believe in, doing what's right. And so at first my mind was racing with all of the negative things that people would say as a result of, you know, my demise on a ship, well, it's not even a ship, on a boat, trying to get into Gaza. And then this calm came over me because I made peace with whatever was going to happen. Well, it turns out that the Lebanese, well, we had an Al Jazeera, back when Al Jazeera was reliable, we had an Al Jazeera journalist with us. We also had a CNN journalist with us. The CNN journalist was with us because CNN, I was the political personality, the local girl that CNN loved to hate. And so they sent a journalist who was to denigrate everything that I was doing, to deny everything that I said. And so basically what happened instead was this journalist was a real journalist. And while we're like struggling to figure out where we're going to go, how much the boat's taking on water, and so we got to figure out where we can go. Egypt was out of the question. The Israelis, after they rammed us, offered to rescue us, and that was out of the question. And so we're trying to figure all of this stuff out. And the CNN journalist is in the back of the boat arguing with CNN because CNN saying it didn't happen.
Wow.
And it was just amazing that CNN, but this was a real journalist. He ended up telling the truth and reporting the truth. And so that, you know, anyway, that experience, actually I should finish it by saying that the Lebanese Navy rescued us.
Okay.
And took us into Tyre, I believe, is the harbor. And so we were received like heroes, you know. People came streaming on Al Jazeera, so people saw it. And so anyway, that was my experience, my experience with Al Jazeera and all of that.
How do you feel about the U.S.-Israeli relations?
Well, I wouldn't be so upset about the Israeli relationship with the United States if it weren't so lopsided. And therein lies the problem, that you can have crimes committed, torture committed, crimes against humanity, the crime of aggression, which is the highest crime of all. You can have that happen on perpetrated by the Israelis on the Israeli side with impunity, and it just goes against everything that we're taught about justice and truth and
democracy.
And democracy. It just flies in the face of that. And so, unfortunately, we have the harsh reality that governments don't say what they do and they don't do what they say. And so that is why we have a struggle. And that's why we have this struggle for human rights and dignity. So, let's see. Palestine, why do I care? I think that's a very important question because, I'm not Arab, I'm not Muslim, I'm not Palestinian, and yet I risk my life for the Palestinian cause. And I think that goes directly to the effect that the civil rights movement in the United States had on me, the effect that it had on me personally. Because I witnessed my family, my father, involved in that movement and understood the importance of that movement to my own future, to my own rights as a citizen of the United States of America, it became something that was very important to me. Not just academically, but personally important to me. And then when you add to that the way the civil rights movement was ended, and I say that because I have read many, if not most, of the pages of the COINTELPRO papers, which is a book written by Ward Churchill that describes the COINTELPRO papers that were written by the federal government, by members of the FBI, the CIA, and that apparatus of the deep state that was not in favor of black people in the United States having civil rights, or even the notion of civil rights. In fact, I just posted on my Facebook page a photo of the Ku Klux Klan dressed up in their regalia, remembering, because of this interview that I was doing about the civil rights movement, the first time that I saw members of the Ku Klux Klan dressed up like that. And it was in a protest in Decatur, Alabama. My dad had driven over there with a friend, and the National Guard had been called out to keep the blacks who were protesting, to make sure that this young, mentally challenged black boy did not receive the death penalty because he had been accused of raping a white woman. And then on the other side of us, across the street, were members of the Ku Klux Klan, and they had their rifles with them. And it was the first time I saw hatred directed at me in a kind of generic kind of way. Nobody on the other side of the street knew me, but they hated me nonetheless. And I felt that. I remember feeling that. Okay, so now the civil rights movement And that's exactly what happened. And one of those tools that was used during the COINTELPRO era was targeted assassination. And so I have come to be a student particularly of the use of the U.S. government's use of targeted assassination to get what it wants. So targeted assassination in foreign policy, that is undisputed. Targeted assassination in domestic policy, I don't think that's disputed anymore either, particularly when we look at now the nomenclature that we have as a result of, quite frankly, one of the professors who served on my dissertation committee, Dr. Peter Dale Scott, who coined the phrase the deep state. And he coined the phrase in relation to what happened to JFK. And then being from Georgia, being interested in the civil rights movement, what ended the civil rights movement. Then, of course, I look at the COINTELPRO papers. I read the Frank Church committee report that goes into the thousands of pages and understand that targeted assassination was a tool that was used by the United States government abroad, and the United States government brought that tool home.
Wow, it sounds for a normal person like a conspiracy. In my opinion, it's just the normal consequence of the power structure. Scholars, intellectuals like Noam Chomsky, like Professor David Graeber, and Professor Holloway, they analyzed the aggression of the state against their own people in several books, and I think it's pretty clear that a person who understands the power structure understands that this phenomena is nothing new, it is very old, and it's normal. The people who are in power want to stay in power, so I think it's logically, but I don't know why, but people think that this sounds crazy, like a Hollywood film. It is a conspiracy. And maybe...
Well, it's a conspiracy. Wait a minute. It is a conspiracy. But who's doing the conspiring? And so this is why it's so important. In 1999, Dr. William Pepper, who was the family attorney to the King family, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who hailed from the state of Georgia, and so of course I would be interested in his life and in his murder, was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And so in December 1999, Dr. Pepper, acting on behalf of Coretta King and the children, filed a lawsuit against the conspirators who killed Dr. King. And a jury in December of that year, December 1999, a jury in Memphis, Tennessee, of 6 blacks and 6 whites, found that the United States government conspired to murder Dr. King. So yes, we are talking about conspiracy.
Wow, yeah. You ran for presidency in 2008. This was the historical year that the first black president of the United States was elected. How do you feel about the policies and the pre-election promises of the Obama administration? How do you feel about the Nobel Peace Prize that Obama received? And did he represent the black community well, in your opinion?
He didn't represent the black community at all. And of course, that was the purpose of his selection. And we have to understand that Barack Obama was selected to do exactly what he did and what he has done. And by that, I mean that any kind of movement for civil rights, for peace, for justice, basically no longer exists because of the Obama phenomenon. And we have to recognize it as what it is. And it was a phenomenon. Glenn Ford at Black Agenda Report basically characterized the change that existed sapped it all away. That was, I believe, the purpose of the Obama administration. And in fact, just this morning, as I was enjoying my cup of coffee, I was thinking about Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Basically, that Donald Trump is to white America what Barack Obama was to black America. And so if you look at, say, a deep state that is extremely manipulative and utilizes every resource at its disposal in order to prolong itself, then I think we can see this phenomenon in action. We can see it in reality. We can see it actually taking place. And that's what I see with the same kind of people didn't want to see anything bad or malevolent about Barack Obama. And in particular, it was the black community that just basically put blinders on for 8 years. And whatever anybody said about Barack Obama, they were not telling the truth, because Barack Obama was the second coming of Jesus Christ. He was the second coming of Abraham Lincoln, of John F. Kennedy. I mean, you name it, he was that person. And that was actually the campaign that was waged in 2007 that likened Barack Obama to all of these people. He was Martin Luther King Jr. At the same time, he was Malcolm X. He was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was everybody to everybody. And as far as I'm concerned, because I was also running a campaign in 2008 for the Green Party, what I would say is that this was an intelligence operation. It was a global intelligence operation. And now comes the situation with Donald Trump.
With President Trump, there has been a lot of changes recently. What do you think about his promises? Did he kept his promises?
That Donald Trump has flip-flopped on many issues, from candidate Trump to President Trump, is obvious for everyone to see. And so I think the issue is, why did this flip-flop take place? Why has it taken place? Was it something that was preordained? Is it something that's sitting out there that we should have seen during the time of the candidacy? That I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. That is something that I think we need to try and grasp and understand.
Let's move to the topic 9/11. You, correct me if I'm wrong, you were the first person in Congress who called for a further and independent investigation. You stood up against the Bush administration, and I think, yeah. And why do you think 9/11 is still a matter? Why do you think it's still important? What implicates 9/11?
Well, first of all, we don't know. Everybody saw what happened on September 11th, 2001. But I don't know of anyone who can tell us how it happened. And instead of focusing on how it happened, we were directed to, or instructed to inform our constituents, those of us in Congress, of
Wow, yeah.
Now that is the question. And that question has still to this day not been answered. And how is it that the United States military can go and rattle sabers somewhere in the Pacific, heading somewhere toward North Korea, can rattle sabers in the South China Sea, can hold war games in the Bay of Bengal, can drop bombs in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Somalia, Sudan, can split Sudan, can drop bombs in Yemen. How can it do all of that, and yet the Pentagon building itself can't be protected? So this is ridiculous beyond hyperbole for us to say that we have these questions and we dare not ask them, and we dare not demand that they be answered. The other point is that having been on the inside, I understand that whenever there is an accident, we have the National Transportation Safety Board that kicks into action. And so the National Transportation Safety Board can demand changes in airplane design or train design without political interference because that is its mandate. But why didn't the National Transportation Safety Board kick into high gear? There were certain deviations from standard operational procedure that have not been explained to this day. And yet the Europeans were asked to come and join us in this war. Don't worry about the evidence, because we have the evidence of who did it. You just join us. That's what I was told was the discussion that was held in the European Parliament with the members there and the NATO members. And so NATO was invoked with no evidence at all. And the Europeans, just like nice little puppy dogs who had been trained very well, just went along with whatever it was that the United States said. And so to this day, the Europeans, until of course you have the Brexit phenomenon, the Grexit phenomenon, the Italy phenomenon that's taking hold. And so all of a sudden you've got people who are demanding, hey, wait a minute, what did I give up in order to be rounded up and generalized into a whole that subsumes my identity and my sovereignty? What did I give up? People are correctly, I believe, asking this question. And so I am hoping that people will also say, particularly people in Europe, will say, wait a minute, what am I getting in exchange for this bond that we have with the United States, this unshakable bond? The unshakable bond that the United States has with Israel is also an unshakable bond that the United States has with Western Europe. And so what does that get for Europe? More U.S. military bases, more occupation, more opportunity for war to take place in Europe rather than in the United States. Is that what the Europeans have settled for? These questions of peace, real peace, not a Pax Americana. And remember, our first president who said, what kind of peace do I seek and what kind of peace do I mean? Not a Pax Americana enforced on the world with U.S. weapons of war. That is what President Kennedy said. And because he said that, that was in August, I believe, July or August of 1963, and just a few mere weeks later, he had his brains blown out in front of the world for everyone to see, because staffers, the Clinton perpetrators of the various state crimes against democracy that were committed by them is also outrageous and unacceptable. So what I would say is that the people of the United States also have some waking up to do. And I believe that an awakening is happening. Unfortunately, the people of the United States have not held those perpetrators of that Martin Luther King Jr. murder conspiracy. They haven't held them accountable. And so I recall what Nita Lowey, Congresswoman from New York, told me when I discovered that the Israel lobby had targeted me for elimination from the Congress. She came to me and she said, Cynthia, every vote has a consequence. And what I would say is this. The people of the United States allowed President Kennedy to be murdered without a consequence. Malcolm X was murdered without a consequence. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered without a consequence. Bobby Kennedy, who could have been and should have been President of the United States, changing the policy course, was murdered without a consequence. And so it's time now for us to say to President Trump, you are not going to be allowed to flip-flop on this important issue of war and peace without a consequence.
Let's move on to my last question. What are your current projects and how people from Europe can support you and your work?
Well, I have a website, and that website is allthingscynthiamckinney.com. So I would encourage people to go there. It's in the process of being updated. So I'm putting more and more content. I'm always behind because I'm always doing interviews or whatever. And right now I'm teaching at a university in Asia, but I intend to get very busy very soon back in the United States holding Trump accountable. There's a group of us who are coming together trying to do something that I have been working on for a very long time, and that is bring what now we should call the alt-left and the alt-right to bring us together, because it is only through unity that we will be able to defeat the deep state. And that's what our next challenge is to come together.
Wow, that's great, because the Varna Institute for Peace was born with exactly the same idea to bring all parts of the society together, because we are all in the same boat, and the captain of the boat is none of us. It's not of our, it's and so it doesn't make any sense to fight each other because we are not in power. So, and this old rule, divide et impera, and we are trying to how can I say, to erase such thing as race, gender, age, and so on, and put the people together. And this is what peace is all about, I think. And yeah, it sounds great. So we are happy to support you.
Thank you very much. And actually, what I teach my students is from the Paulo Freire pedagogy of oppressed line of thinking. So one of my classes is Introduction to Political Science. What I talk to them about and show them in their world and in the world are the mechanisms of oppression in play right now, today, and the tools for liberation that are used to defeat the mechanisms of oppression. If we look at the paradigm of oppression and study how we can relieve ourselves of that oppression, then we can find a way to be free, to be sovereign, to rid ourselves of the tyranny. And so that's what I'm teaching enjoying it, but now I understand that it's time for me to get back into the fray. And so that's what I'll be doing in the upcoming weeks. Stay tuned, because there's a lot that's coming up.
Yeah. So, Cynthia, it was a pleasure talking with you. I look forward to see and hear you again.
Okay, thank you so much, and I thank the Varna Institute of Peace Research for the honor of accepting me as
A peace partner.
a peace partner. I thank the Varna Institute of Peace Research for accepting me as a peace partner.
Thank you very much.